Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm the Posh Guy Who Likes Wrestling. Welcome to episode 8 of my WWE reviews. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. Yes, let's kick straight into it. Randy Orton is back. The Viper has returned. He returned at Fastlane, and he comes out to say, I'm not the kind of guy that talks your ears off in a 20-minute promo. No, actually, this promo only goes on to last 14 minutes. So that's nice. He comes out and talks about kicking ass. He wants to kick Seth Rollins' ass. There's something about Seth Rollins' ass that Randy Orton just doesn't like. Out comes the Authority minus Seth Rollins' ass. And they say, Randy, come on, come back to the fold. You know, we did literally curb stomp you. But you know what? Come on. We've got stock options. Randy Orton says no. He's here to kick some ass and not kiss some ass. However, just as the Authority are leaving the ring, Randy Orton says, okay, one quick business meeting backstage. What? Oh, it's a trap. Oh, he's going to trap them. Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah, he's going to trap them. Because anything else would be ridiculous for his character. It would be illogical. No, but he's going to trap them, so it's fine. Out comes Bad News Barrett, and I'm afraid I've got some bad news. He's had his title nicked. Out comes Dolph Ziggler. They're going to have a match. That's great. Why the fuck is R-Truth out there? Why do we need a fourth voice? Jesus F. Christ. R-Truth is gabbing about something. He's a very annoying person on commentary. He comes up with the hashtag Give Truth a Chance. Anyway, the announcers might be ignoring it, but at least the crowd are into the match. And, of course, it's hard for Ziggler to have a bad match with anyone, especially someone as athletically competent as Bad News Barrett. Dolph Ziggler flies Bad News Barrett into the post and then hits a zigzag for another clean win over the Intercontinental Champion. Jesus Christ. Poor Bad News Barrett. So out comes Dean Ambrose with the title in tow. He stands over Bad News Barrett, just holding the title in front of him. And Barrett doesn't even grab for it. Fucking hell, talk about looking weak. He just lies there, clutching his neck, going, yeah, mate, well, just, huh? Yeah. Anyway, Dean Ambrose and Ziggler then have a kind of a mini confrontation. No. Ziggler must fight Bryan. Then that's the end of that segment. Why the fuck was R-Truth there? To put him into the Intercontinental Championship picture? Great. Fucking putting people on commentary boils my piss. Anyway, there's a backstage meeting and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton are just standing next to each other. Like, Seth Rollins put Randy Orton out. He's been out since Survivor Series. He's been out for almost 4 months. Because he had his head curb stomped into steel steps and he's standing next to the man who did it. So, you know, Seth Rollins rightfully says, how can we trust this guy who I almost killed? And Steph says, well, you know, just do it, and they shake hands. But it's fine, because Randy Orton must have a trap up his sleeve somewhere. I mean, it must be a trap. He wouldn't just forgive Seth Rollins for what he's done. That would make no sense whatsoever, and it would be very damaging to the momentum that he would receive coming back to the WWE. But no, it's going to be a trap, right? Also, Triple H hasn't said anything all night because he's sulking, and I think that's really funny. Primetime Players versus The Ascension. Only one real thing of consequence here. The Primetime Players beat The Ascension. Now, I get that style of booking, a returning tag team. Obviously, they want a win to start off with, but there are other tag teams to fight against, right? Not the Ascension, who also need every win they can possibly get. Now, the Ascension were on the dominant push. You know, when you first debut, you tend to get a little dominant push of, you know, a couple of back-to-back wins where you look pretty strong. The Ascension sort of had those. It was slightly muddied, but now it doesn't even have that. Is this the end of the Ascension? I mean, they're going to have to win the titles at WrestleMania for them to be taken in any way seriously now. It's good that we have another tag team. And it's good that the Primetime Players don't feel like an afterthought. But there are other ways to do this. Or is the tag team division that thin? What about Los Matadors? I know they're babyface, but who cares? Just anyone else. Out comes Roman Reigns, talks about how he's going to WrestleMania. Out comes Daniel Bryan. And fuck me, this guy knows what it is to be good for the company. He's a fucking soldier. Bryan passes the torch in as public a way he can. He tries everything in his arsenal to sign his fans over to Roman Reigns. You have the heart. You have what it takes. Go kick Brock Lesnar's ass. You put on a hell of a show. They have a handshake. Bryan leaves with no conflict whatsoever. He officially offers his WrestleMania slot to Roman Reigns, which is a hell of a stand-up thing for him to do, especially because he knows that it makes so much more sense for him to be in the slot instead of Reigns. So, fuck. If I didn't already have enough respect for Daniel Bryan, he has it now. He's an unselfish motherfucker. Out comes Paul Heyman and says that he knows who the money would be on: Roman Reigns versus Bruno Sammartino versus Hogan versus Austin versus The Rock versus Cena. His money would be on Roman Reigns. Wow, are they trying to turn the fans on Roman Reigns again? Why would you put this greenhorn up against all those legends? Never mind, people like Reigns now. That's fine. Anyway, Paul Heyman says, "You can't slay my beast." Roman Reigns says, "Tell me again that I can't do it. It's not just that I'm going to beat him, because I'm going to beat him. It's how I'm going to beat him. And he won't want to be friends with me after. Believe that." The Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro for the gold. It's the Usos rematch. Again, 2 in a row, this match succeeds. These guys have good chemistry together. When the gold's on the line, it makes the match so much more exciting. And yeah, there were some lovely spots. There were a couple of spots that probably would have looked better off on the pay-per-view show. But hey, it's nice to have a high-octane match. You got the giant swing into the drop kick. You've got Cesaro being whipped into Tyson Kidd. Kidd jumps over the top of him, and Cesaro gets clotheslined by a leaping Uso. That looked great. I really, really like how Cesaro breaks up pins by just throwing himself into them. Bonk. Just like crawls along and just like bonk. It's funny to me. We also have Kidd breaking up a pin in a nice way with a springboard elbow drop. Then you got a lot of close 2 counts, close roll-ups. And finally, we get what I predicted would happen at Fastlane, which is Natalya essentially turning heel. Tyson Kidd rolls up one of the Usos using the ropes as unfair leverage. Naomi comes along and takes his feet off the ropes. Natty comes along, pushes down Naomi, and pushes one of the Usos off the top, thereby getting a disqualification. Yes! Turns out that dye streak in her hair did signal that dark days were coming. Natty is on her way to becoming a heel, as she should, because the whole her and her husband thing, that's tiresome. Let's just get behind the team, and let's have some really good wrestling between Natalya and Naomi, because that's what they deserve. Promo from Miz and Mizdow. It's more of that same shtick, but the big news here is the Miz is entering himself in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Okay, so we're not going to get a match between Miz and Mizdow at WrestleMania. That's fine, because we're clearly going to get a match between Goldust and Stardust. And to be honest, 2 matches where the tag team implodes, you probably don't need that on the same card. So, Miz and... well, I guess my prediction from this would therefore be that Mizdow eliminates Miz from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Or possibly wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. That would be something, wouldn't it? A backstage promo from Wyatt talking about how the evil that you were exists inside me now, man. And WrestleMania, I'm gonna finish the job. Find me. Etc. Stardust versus Swagger. Swagger wins with the Patriot Lock after Stardust was distracted by Goldust's music. Oh, you bog standard shenanigans. I thought this feud had a slightly higher temperature than I'm going to distract you so someone else can win, because that really is booking 101. It's right up there with someone sitting on commentary. Yes, distraction booking. It's very, very lazy, and it's not what this feud needs. I mean, I guess Goldust is still trying to be the good older brother, not to beat the crap out of Stardust. But why is he then costing him matches and being cocky about it? It doesn't make sense. Either Goldust is trying to get Stardust back by a compassionate means, because that's what he said he wanted to do, or he's beating the crap out of him. He's not just costing him victories, because that's just going to get his brother worked up. It doesn't make sense in the terms of the story. It's just bog standard filler booking. fuck. Cena comes out and gives another Cena promo where he starts talking and he talks about all the people in the audience and how that's the thing about America. We get back down, but we get back up, Jack. And when you put America in the corner, nobody puts America in the corner. And we will fight and we will win and we will climb the mountaintop and we will lace up and we will say the champion's here. Oh, boring. Out comes Rusev and says that Cena doesn't deserve a title shot at WrestleMania. Cena says, you are garbage and it's time for me to take the trash out. Nope, you can't have a title shot at WrestleMania. That's nice, because now I want to see what Cena does to Rusev in order to force him to put his title on the line again. Good. Ah, yes, the Paige, Emma, and the Bella Twins match. Now, this match is now sort of famous on Twitter for incredibly bad reason, being that it lasted 31 fucking seconds. Then Twitter leapt on it, and the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, instead of Give Truth a Chance, started to trend. Trended so much so that Vince McMahon responded to it on Twitter. He said, we hear you, keep watching. Okay. So yeah, what actually happened in the match was that Paige was knocked off the edge and Emma was hit with one move and pinned for the 1, 2, 3, which is insulting to Emma, insulting to Paige, and even insulting to the Bellas that they get to go out there and have their, have the Divas division title diminished by being involved in such throwaway bullshit. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you look at what's happening on NXT, when a match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks is being hyped a week in advance. When at NXT Rival, the girls were given, 15, 20 minutes to work and put on in the penultimate match. Oh, and a third thing, in the NXT they're called women, not divas. Also, the belt doesn't look like a pink butterfly. Ugh. Yeah, if I was in NXT, I would never want to be called up, because what happens to you here is you get put in this diva shuffle. You get a choice between joining Total Divas or dying. Point now where the fans are sort of institutionalized to the fact that the divas mean nothing. So despite the fact that divas put on good matches, for example, Paige and Nikki Bella put on a fine match at Fastlane, the fans, the mainstream casual fans, are just now conditioned to this point where it's almost like you've dug yourself so far down you can't climb back out of this pit. Because you could put on an amazing 10-15 minute match between Natalya and Naomi, but are the crowd going to be on side? We'll find that out when we do the Smackdown review. Anyway, Vince McMahon has heard us, apparently. I don't know what that means, but one can only hope for the better, because it can't get worse. The Bushwhackers are in the Hall of Fame. I can think of a couple of tag teams who deserve it more, but hey, congratulations to anyone who's in the Hall of Fame, I guess. The WWE again put on a nice video package for them, and fuck me, it really looks like these guys would annoy me if they were on TV today. But hey, congratulations. Out comes Curtis Axel. Don't turn the channel. Do you mean don't change the channel? Because don't turn the channel over is what... Anyway, Axel announced that he's entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Ryback comes out, he's entering the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. One of these guys has a slightly better chance than the other. Ryback says he's going to take the Axeman to Smashville. Fuck me. Okay. So yeah, there are brief punches from Axel. He gets put up in the shell shock and dropped on his ass. Okay then. Sorry, Curtis. Sorry. Okay, it's the main event. Seth Rollins and Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Out comes Seth Rollins to introduce his family, Randy Orton. The crowd are on top form for this match. The crowd have been good the whole night, actually. I think they were anxious to show up their Memphis counterparts by giving a little extra juice. So yes, there's like 10 clotheslines in the corner from Roman Reigns. That could be a nice signature spot, adding to the moveset, like it. Again, a Samoan flapjack. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but it should, because that sounds funny. Hot tags to Roman Reigns, hot tags to Daniel Bryan. Everyone looks good. It's fine. Bit slow with Randy Orton, but then again, he has always been a methodical worker. You know, he's doing the stomps to the different body parts. It's fine, but everyone else was they sort of feel like they belong at a slightly higher tempo. So, well, hey, it's what makes Randy Orton unique, I guess. So yeah, Orton is setting up Roman Reigns for his special vintage DDT, which and then Seth Rollins tags himself in, which annoys Orton, who gets onto the outside and starts talking to Big Show and Kane, complaining. Seth Rollins then misses the curb stomp, gets hit with a Superman punch. Roman Reigns is going for the spear, but then Daniel Bryan tags himself in. Roman Reigns doesn't mind about this though. He laughs it off, ha 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 ha, and Daniel Bryan hits the running knee for the win. Then after the match, Orton looks like he's going for the punt. Unfortunately, Noble stops him and he gets an RKO for his trouble. Then Randy Orton lifts Seth Rollins to his feet, doesn't hit him, and decides to leave the ring. Okay, so there was no trap. Right. So basically, if Seth Rollins hadn't tagged himself in an obnoxious manner, Randy Orton wouldn't have been annoyed. It took Seth Rollins doing something for Randy Orton to want to hurt Seth Rollins, despite the fact that Randy Orton has been at home, has been stewing over the fact that someone jumped off the announce table, driving his face into steel with their boot, and he's fine with that. Because Randy Orton, remember, is the psychotic anti-hero that everyone loved, right? He's fine with the fact that someone almost killed him. If Seth Rollins had just not been a dick, he would be with the Authority. This makes no sense. Okay, now I understand that the WWE wants to spin out this feud until WrestleMania because it's pretty much there. Randy Orton wants to kick Seth Rollins' ass, Seth Rollins wants to kick Randy Orton's ass, and that's pretty much it. It could go on at WrestleMania tomorrow, so they want to spin it out, maybe get a bit more intrigue because we've got like 3-4 weeks left. It's not intriguing. It just feels unnatural. It feels wrong. Look, there's nothing wrong with organic booking. Randy Orton has come back from injury, so he wants to kill Seth Rollins. It makes sense. Fuel the fire. Find creative ways for Randy Orton to avoid getting his hands on Seth Rollins. How about Randy Orton and Seth Rollins? They have their match, but they sign one of those I can't touch you, you can't touch me agreements. Therefore, Randy Orton has to find creative ways to fuck with Seth Rollins and vice versa. They hurt people who they're close to, for example. You know, spin out this fucking animosity into something that's really palpable. Not cut the legs out from Randy Orton's return, okay? Because at the moment, his momentum just has all the energy sucked out of it because now he looks weak. He looks like the patsy Randy Orton. People started liking Randy Orton once he started bucking against the Authority, and now he's trying his best to ingratiate himself with them again. It makes no sense. I get you're trying to swerve us, but there's a difference between a swerve which is shocking and surprising and makes you think about something in a whole new way, or just going up against the grain, doing something that feels wrong. Because then the fans are confused. It doesn't make sense. And so if they don't know how to react, they just won't react. Anyway, Thursday night Smackdown! We start with Daniel Bryan, who comes out to say that he's not going to WrestleMania, but what are his plans for WrestleMania? Well, I'll tell you, it's Bad News Barrett interrupts him. Okay, the WWE don't know what Daniel Bryan's plans are for WrestleMania. That's fine. But fuck you, that's a cock tease. Bad News Barrett comes out and, says, "How long are you gonna keep giving us this sob story? Because I've got some bad news. You don't deserve the spotlight, and neither does Dean Ambrose." Out comes Dean Ambrose with the belt, leaves it in the ring while Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett brawl on the outside. The fans chant for Daniel Bryan to pick up the belt. Don't pick up the belt. The belt is poison. So Daniel Bryan picks it up. The fact that Bad News Barrett won't even make a move on Daniel Bryan. Oh my God, he looks so weak. Bryan gives him the belt, but Ambrose clonks him. Bryan kicks him. He drops the belt. Ambrose takes it again. Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. Damien Mizdow is filming a commercial apparently today, which is why he can't be out with The Miz. The fans chant, "We want Mizdow." The match is really short. There's nothing really much to it. The only reason why this match happens is so Bad News Barrett steals his belt back. Comes to the ring, takes the belt from Dean Ambrose, and runs off to the back with it. Dean Ambrose hits Dirty D to The Miz for the win. Natalya versus Naomi. So, did the WWE hear us about giving the Divas a chance? Well, they've given Natalya and Naomi a match. And it's short, it doesn't last more than one segment, but fuck, those girls make the most of their minutes. You've got lovely head scissor takedowns from Naomi, head scissor kind of choke hold. You've got them flipping all over each other, cartwheels, they're kipping up. They're doing everything they can athletically to say we belong on the same stage as the guys. And the crowd are dead for it. Ah, fuck. This is what I'm talking about. Now, you see, I don't blame the fans. The fans are not giving the Divas the respect they deserve, but the fans are only reacting the way they've been conditioned. The majority of SmackDown audiences are not hardcore WWE fans. They're not the guys on the IWC. They're not the guys on Twitter who make hashtag give Divas a chance trend. That's not the people who turn up to SmackDown in the majority. They've been conditioned to see the Divas match as filler, because that's all they ever turn out to be. They're low-stakes matches by design. So if the WWE wants to dig themselves out of this pit, then they have to not listen to the fans, okay? Yes, the fans might not react well to Diva matches for the next few weeks, but the WWE has to ignore that, okay? It has to know what's better for its audience. It has to go out there and insist upon putting on 10-minute matches with the Divas every single week. Put the best people in the ring. Put 2 Divas matches on per show, okay? The fans aren't going to like it at the start, but they will grow to like it. Okay, you have to put more backstage promos in. You have to make all these matches mean something. Basically, WWE, you've got to do a lot of work, and you're not going to get a lot of return from it from the live crowds at the beginning, but you can't listen to them, okay? Know what's better for your business, okay? Build the WWE Diva matches and fuck the live crowds. They might be dead, but as long as Naomi and Natalya keep putting on matches like this, as long as this builds into something, then you will start getting a response, okay? You heard us on Twitter. Don't listen to us live. Give us what we need, not what we want. Rusev comes out and says he doesn't have to answer to anybody else's terms. Lana says, you've seen your American dream slowly slipping into unconsciousness. Instead, out comes Jack Swagger, who, well, unless they edited the sound, is still really over. Unfortunately for Jack Swagger, you know, he gives a good promo by his standards, but his standards aren't very high because unfortunately Jack Swagger just has this slightly detached, numb quality to his voice, which means that he just doesn't sound like he's emotionally or in any sense engaged with what he's saying, which is a shame. I think he's trying, but it's just not working out. Rusev just gives him a couple of kicks and then locks in the accolade for ages, which is fine. It's fun. You know, an over heel going up against an over baby face and the over heel being a complete prick. It's fine. Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett. For fuck's sake, R-Truth's still out here. Oh my God, stop squabbling. There's a match happening. R-Truth basically has this whole running shtick throughout the match that, hey, Brian Saxton, he mistakes him for Jonathan Coachman. Oh, I guess they all look the same to you, don't they, R-Truth? The match is good. Bad News Barrett keeps his Intercontinental title in the corner where he can see it, which is fun. That's a nice little story that plays throughout the match. When the title accidentally gets kicked off the apron, Bad News Barrett almost loses his shit, which is great. It's a lovely little story. Plus, Brian makes anyone look good. The match has a good sense of momentum. Barrett goes for the wasteland. It's countered into the yes lock. Barrett slowly creeps over and grabs the bottom rope. Hey, that looks strong. But in the meantime, Truth gets up from the announce table, sneaks over to the belt and steals it and deposits it underneath the announce table, much to the chagrin of Brian Saxton Coachman. Barrett goes for the bull hammer. Brian hits the running knee for the pin. Wow, another clean loss for Bad News Barrett. Sucks to be him. He comes looking for his title. R-Truth says, I don't know where it is, man. Bad News Barrett just sits on the announce table looking so sad. He looks so upset. Michael Cole points out that he's lost to Dean Ambrose, Ziggler, R-Truth, now Daniel Bryan. Bad News Barrett can't buy a win. Oh, don't forget, he's lost to Sin Cara as well. And he looks so sad. God save our grace. There's an interview with Brian Saxton and Roman Reigns. Wow, this is dull. I mean, Roman Reigns is really monotonous and flat in this interview. I mean, he's given fired up interviews before, but it's hard to sit through. I don't want to see any more interviews like this. He talks about how he's going to beat Brock for a proud family, you know, and I get he's got a quiet intensity going on, but it doesn't really translate in this sort of interview environment. He just seems bored. Promo of Truth walking backstage with the championship. Dean Ambrose says, did you win that? And R-Truth says, yeah, we had a great match. Yeah. And Dean Ambrose says, look, I'm going to want that back. And R-Truth just gives him the belt and says, hey, 2 title changes in 1 Smackdown. That's fun. We're on fire. And then runs off. That was pretty funny. But I'm not sure how I feel about this. Because basically, this is more attention that the Intercontinental Championship's been given in weeks, months even. The fact that they're actually building some sort of program around it, you know, they're giving it, like the Intercontinental Championship, that was one of the big stories from this week's Smackdown. But that being said, they're also playing hot potato with it literally. And that makes the Intercontinental Championship look silly. Bad News Barrett, the champion himself, looks the weakest he's ever looked, frankly. But, I guess there's interest in the title, and it's good that Dean Ambrose wants it. But, I don't know, just it being passed around like some sort of prop, like some tinker toy. I don't know. Let's see. It's announced that Bad News Barrett is going to be defending the championship at WrestleMania in a ladder match. Hey! Yeah, that looks like it's going to be an exciting match. Dean Ambrose in a ladder match would be great, but they don't specify who's going to be in it. That's very cunning of the WWE. He will defend it against multiple men, whether that means just Dean Ambrose and R-Truth, which is what I'm hoping, or if it means Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, and Ziggler, I'm less keen. If you put Daniel Bryan back in the mix, Jesus, that's a step down for him. Obviously, I'm still pulling for Ziggler versus Bryan, and I'm hoping for that triple threat. Hey, put Sheamus in! Put Sheamus in for the Intercontinental Championship. Why not? He's good in a ladder match. Why not? Please don't put Sheamus against Daniel Bryan. Please don't do that. Please. Fandango versus Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel comes out and points to the Titantron where it's got a clock of how long he's technically been in the Royal Rumble. He said he's been in there for 32 hours. Oh, for fuck's sake, Curtis. He's been in there for 32 days. Now, look, it's unfair that someone as talented as you isn't being used quite as much as you are, but if they're going to give you this shtick and you fuck it up, what else can they do? Anyway, Fandango hits his leg drop for the win. Bully. Miz finds Mizdow backstage and basically steals his commercial from him. Boo! Boo, Miz! Boo, you motherfucker! Speaking as an unemployed actor myself, my blood is boiling. Adam Rose versus Goldust. Not much happens with Adam Rose. Goldust hits his director's cut, I think it's called, for the 1, 2, 3 fairly quickly. In fact, they have less time than the Divas do. Whew. The big news is that Cody Rhodes was dressed as something. I'm not even sure what he was dressed as, and he beats the crap out of Goldust. Hits him with the crossroads and says, "Now it's over." It would have been more original had we not already done this with Summer Rae and the Chicken. And then we have the rematch between Team Rogelback versus Rollins, Big Show and Kane. And this match, I think, probably actually worked out better than the pay-per-view version of the match, if only because the finish was so damn good. You had a couple of things like Ryback has catching Rollins in midair into a suplex position and turning it into a shell shock. That will never not look impressive. Rowan being able to fall away slam Kane like it was nothing. That's insanely impressive. Ryback is fucking tossing Seth Rollins around. A belly-to-belly throw, a gorilla press into a power slam. That looked incredible. So yeah, but no, the finish is lovely. Absolutely lovely. Rollins is setting up Ryback for the curb stomp. Rowan tosses Noble into the ring to distract Rollins. Then he goes for the curb stomp. Ziggler hits the super kick to Rollins in midair, and then Ryback grabs the shell shock and drops him, and it looked great. Lovely, lovely finish, and a good match. Probably the match of the week. That being said, this week was not a week for matches. Now, I understand it's WrestleMania season, and so we're obviously going to be focusing on story moments. The matches are going to be shorter, and we're just going to focus on the story beats, and we're going to have a lot more promos and air a lot more of everyone talking smack backstage, a lot more in the ring with the microphone. That's fine, it's WrestleMania season, and a lot of the card is sort of taking shape already. But, it's still wrestling at the end of the day. That's why people tune in. And I got a sense a lot this week that the story elements were sort of robbing the matches of their time. Not to say we didn't get some good matches. For match of the week, it would have been the Usos versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro if not for that DQ finish. So I'm going to give it to, the Fastlane rematch. Rogelback versus Rollins, Big Show and Kane. I can't be asked to come up with a big name for those guys. Well, my thoughts on a thing for this week was going to actually be the sorry state of the Divas division, but I sort of, they preempted me and I had a bit of a rant in the middle of the episode about that, so no need to repeat myself. So, thank you for watching the episode 8 of my WWE Raw and Smackdown reviews. Yes, please do subscribe and share the video if you enjoyed it. I need as much help as I can get trying to stand out from the crowd. So yes, I've been the posh guy who likes wrestling. I'll see you next week. Cheerio.